This is an introductory session to deadlocks in distributed systems. So basically there are 4 strategies which are used to handle the deadlocks. Now the first one is the ostrich algorithm. So in the ostrich algorithm what we do is we just ignore the problem. Moving towards deadlock detection. In deadlock detection what we do is we allow the deadlocks to occur, then we detect them and then we try to recover from the deadlocks. So with respect to deadlock detection, we allow it to occur, then we detect them and then recover from the deadlock. Then we have deadlock prevention. Now deadlock prevention algorithm ensures that at least one of the necessary conditions, that is mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait does not hold true. However, most prevention algorithms have poor resource utilization and hence the result is reduced throughputs. And finally, we have deadlock avoidance. Over here we avoid deadlocks by allocating the resources carefully. That means allocation of resources is done carefully. Now we will discuss about distributed deadlock detection. Okay. So now when a deadlock is detected in a system, it is basically resolved by aborting one or more number of transactions. So when a transaction is aborted because basically it is now contributing to a deadlock. So before aborting a particular transaction, what the system will do is it will first restore the system to a state it had before the transaction began. And at this point, the transaction can start again. Whereas in centralized deadlock detection, each machine maintains something called as a resource graph. Now this resource graph consists of information about its own processes and the resources. And there is something called as a central coordinator which maintains the resource graph of the entire system, that is information about all the machines. So basically we can say it is a union of all the individual graph of all the machines. Now when this coordinator detects a cycle, what it will do is it will kill one of the process so that it can break the deadlock. We'll try to understand this with the help of an example. Here we have two machines, machine 0 and machine 1. The ones indicated in circles are processes and the ones in squares are resources. So machine A has process A and B, machine 1 has process C. And altogether there are only 3 resources, R, S and T. Now with respect to machine 0, process A holds S, it is holding S, but it is requesting for the resource R. Now A cannot have R because B is using it. Okay. So this is the description of machine 0. With respect to machine 1, process C is having T and it wants S, whereas S is being used by machine 0. Now we'll try to see the coordinator view of machine 0 and machine 1. As I was told you previously that the coordinator maintains a union of all the machines. So you can see the union of machine 0 and machine 1 is shown by the coordinator machine. Now, as soon as B finishes its work, it will release R. So once it has released R, R will be now available for A to use. So what happens is B has released A. So B has released R, and now A gets R and it will finish its task. So after finishing its task, it will release R also and S also. So once it releases this resource S, S will be available for C to be used. So now A has done its job. It has released R, it has released S. So now on machine 1, C was already holding the resource T, and now it is getting the access to resource S also. So now it can carry its work. Meanwhile, when C is executing its job, B has requested for resource T. What has happened in this is, machine 0 sends a message to the coordinator announcing the release of R. Okay, so machine 0 sends a message to the coordinator announcing the release of the resource R. Machine 1 sends a message to the coordinator announcing the fact that B is now waiting for resource T. B is waiting for resource T. So what has happened over here is, the message from machine 1 has arrived first and not the message from machine 0. So now, because of this problem, what has happened is the coordinator has constructed a graph which shows a cycle. So now what has happened is, now the coordinator incorrectly concludes that a deadlock exists and will try to kill one of the process. Now such problems are called as, or such situation is called as a false deadlock. Now how can we avoid this false deadlocks? There are many deadlock algorithms in distributed system that produce false deadlock, as we have already seen in the example. Now one possible way to avoid this is make use of the Lamport algorithm, which will make use of the global time. So at least based upon the global time, it will know whether there is a false deadlock or not. In the next session, we will see some similar algorithms which will help us overcome this deadlock problems.